Every time you reach for your mouse, you're hitting a speed bump in Excel. It costs you a second here, 3 seconds there, but when you're working with thousands of rows, that friction can add up to hours of lost time every single week. If you're still dragging your cursor to select data or manually clicking through menus to format cells, you're working in the slow lane. Today, we're ditching the mouse. I'm going to show you the 7 shortcuts that act as a cheat code for Excel. And by the end of this video, you just won't be faster, you'll be the fastest person in the room. My name is Kyle, and I've spent my career analyzing data without letting the mouse slow me down. So today, we're reclaiming your free time, and let's get to work. So the first trial every analyst faces is moving through the data. The old world way is using the scroll wheel on our mouse. But look at this data set. It has 100 rows, so scrolling takes forever. So shortcut number 1 is using the control key with the arrows. This teleports you to the edge of your data. You can hold control and hit down, and boom, we're at the bottom of our data. And if you're at row, like let's say 10,000, we can go all the way down here. You can hit up, and you're all the way back up to the top. We can also press Control right to go all the way over to the right edge of the end of our data, and then we can press Control left, and excellent, we're right back to the beginning. And imagine if you're using your scroll wheel to do this, you're just gonna be using this over and over and over again. Whereas we can leverage those control and arrow keys to get us to where we wanna go. But moving is useless if we can't grab the data to manipulate it. And this leads us to our most used combo in my arsenal, and that is gonna be the Control, Shift, and arrow keys. So looking at our data again, if I wanted to select everything here, I could just press Shift and every single piece of data we'll go ahead and select. But we're not going to do that. We're not just a common user in Excel. We are the best possible users in Excel that we can be. So we're going to use the Control, Shift, and then right key. And we can select all of our headers in one fell swoop. And if I do Control, Shift, down, I select all of my data instantly. No manually clicking and going over everything. We can highlight and select all of our data in one go. So now that we know how to select our data, these numbers are a mess. They're hard to read. The dates are incorrect. We don't have any dollar signs. We can't really decipher what's 1,000 or what's a $100 in our revenue or our unit price. A rookie might just select all of column H, press the dollar sign, and then get rid of the decimals by clicking 2 extra times. That's 4 extra clicks, and we need to speak Excel's language instantly. All right, so shortcut number 3 is gonna be the number formatting trio. So to turn this into a readable amount with commas and to dress it up appropriately, what we're gonna do is we're gonna select all of our data right here, and we're gonna press Control, Shift, and 1, and excellent. Just like that, we have everything cleaned up, and then you can press Alt, H, and 9, and then we can press Alt, H, and 9 again to get rid of all those decimals. But let's say we want to clean up our dates. We can just press Control, Shift, down, and then Control, Shift, 3, and excellent. Now we have all of our dates formatted. Control, Shift, 2 would do time. Then if you wanted to change all of our revenue right here into currency, you could do Control, Shift, and 4, and that would also clean it up for you as well. All right, so for shortcut number 4, I changed our data up a little bit to provide this example. In column D, I'm gonna insert in a column, and you can see all of our sales reps. It's a little bit messy. We have the last name with the first name, but we want to separate those out. So instead of using like a complex formula using left and search, we are going to use something called the flash fill. We're not going to overcomplicate things right here. I'm going to type in John into our column right here. I'll just rename this first name. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control E. And you see, excellent, automatically Excel knows what it's doing. Excel detects the pattern and applies it to thousands of rows instantly. And this works with extracting emails, formatting phone numbers, or combining text. It's like the closest thing to AI without actually having AI in your Excel worksheet. All right, so our data is clean, but it is a little bit fragile. So if I scroll down, I might lose my headers. We need to lock this down. Shortcut number 5, it converts a flat range into a powerhouse, and that is gonna be an Excel table. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select all of our data right here, and then we're gonna press Control T, and we're gonna see a create table prompt pop up. And we're going to select our table has headers, and we'll press OK. Our design is clean, and our formulas can now autofill down the entire column. Let's just go ahead and take an example right here. I'll take the units sold times the unit price, close the parentheses, and press enter. And then you see everything automatically drops for us without having to manually drop everything in Excel. And for our 6th shortcut, we have probably one of the most satisfying keystrokes in Excel. We have the automatic sum shortcut. So back in our Excel table, we'll go all the way to the bottom using Control down arrow. And then what you can typically do is someone might go equals sum, press tab to lock it in, and then press Control Shift up, and then Wait, I don't want the revenue, so I'm gonna close this in parentheses and then press enter. Great, now we have $300,450. But that took a little too much time. So what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna press Alt equals, and then you see, boom, just like that, our table is automatically calculated. I didn't have to go in and select certain cells or select an entire row. Excel did the hard work for me. But if I want to also push that a little bit further, if I want to look at the sum to everything to the right, I can also press Alt Enter and it would select everything to the left of the data. Now, granted, this is selecting some information that we don't want. If your table is a little bit cleaner or if it makes sense here, you could also use that as an option. And as you can see, since our data is formatted as a table, everything will automatically calculate. However, I'm going to press Control space and I'm going to select the entire column K, and then I'm going to press Control minus, and then you see we automatically delete all of that data. If you also wanted to add an additional column, again, you could press Control space, and then you would add in another column as well. So the Control minus and the Control plus buttons are also little bonus tips in there to help increase your workflow. In our 7th shortcut, we are gonna solve the blank cell nightmare in 10 seconds flat. All right, so in Excel, I'm gonna select all of our data by pressing Control Shift right, Control Shift down, and then I'm gonna press F5, and then I'm gonna select Alt S, or we're gonna select special. And then you see we have all these different go-to special options. I'm gonna press K, which will bring us to our blanks. And what this does is this tells Excel to select all of the blank cells in our data. And then I'll go ahead and press enter, but don't do anything else just yet. What we're gonna do is we're gonna press equals, and then we're gonna use the arrow key up to select the cell above our blank cell. And then we'll press Control Enter. I'm gonna break my rules and use the scroll real quick, but just like that, you're gonna see that we have all of the associated regions with the data, and it was automatically filled for us. In 3 keystrokes, we just fixed hours of manual data entry, and congratulations, you just saved over 5 hours from your week by using those shortcuts. You're navigating, you're formatting, and you're cleaning data without touching the mouse. But speed is only half the battle. Now that your data is clean, you need to know how to analyze it so you can get promoted. You need to master the correct Excel functions. I have a masterclass on data functions right here that will take you from data entry to data analyst. Click there and I'll see you in the next video.